Today we will be taking a look at the most underrated bodybuilders in the history of the game. And it will be my opinion, of course. Picked up this little idea, this juicy little nugget of an idea from watching Bob Ciccarello, the voice of bodybuilding. Best MC ever, I guess. Probably. I wasn't around back in the olden days, but I wager to say he was. He has an interesting YouTube channel, and he posted his... There was like 5 gentlemen or so. And food for thought, I will not mention any one of those guys, but I did agree with probably 4 out of the 5. Definitely 4 of them I would have mentioned, but I'm not going to mention those guys. Go ahead and watch his video. But anyway, what does it mean to be underrated? What does it mean? Is Hunter Labrada underrated? No, he's placing just fine. A lot of people don't really, prefer his physique. You got a guy like Joel Thomas who is outstanding. And he is placing very low at an Olympia level. But you know what? You can't rate these guys. They are currently competitive. They're current competitors. I mean, look at Ronnie Coleman. If he had quit in 1997, you know what I'm saying? He would have been underrated. So you don't know. Anybody could just pop out of nowhere and win the Olympia title. But you know me, guys. Just like all of these videos, we're going to go back in time to the dawn of bodybuilding, so pop your popcorn, soda pops, whatever you prefer, and we're going to take a look at, my opinion, the most underrated bodybuilders in the history, beginning with, who's this? Bobby Pandour. Well, you can't rate these guys. These guys can't be underrated. There was no bodybuilding. Bobby Pandour was incredible. He had an incredible physique. He was around the same time as Eugene Sandow. And that's, I guess, another way you could be underrated. Not a lot of people talk about you. Like, your legend, I guess, is underrated. But what have you. Not too many people talk about Bobby Pandour. And that's just a fun way to begin this one, guys. He had just as good, or maybe even arguably better, of a physique than our friend Eugene Sandow, who is synonymous. Is that the proper terminology? Synonymous. This is George Eiferman. This guy competed from 1946 to 1950. Relatively short career. But for back then, I guess, par for the course. He competed 8 times, and he lost 6 out of those 8 times. He only won twice. So, realistically, this is not the exact type of career that I was looking for. But considering there was guys like John Grimmick, for instance, who never lost. And in my opinion, Eiferman, his physique, probably much more impressive than John Grimmick's. But that is a story for another day. Let us move on to this list, or on this list. This is Freddy Ortiz. This guy is incredible. And food for thought, I had fun setting this one up, checking these guys' physiques out, and just boggles my mind that not too many people, if anybody, talks about Freddy Ortiz. Those guns, those bicep peaks. I was impressed with Eiferman's lat spread, but this is very impressive. He must have won a few matches, right? Well, never won a single overall matchup. He got a few first places in his class, but he would always lose in the finals, unfortunately for him. And his fans as well. Just incredible. So this guy competed from 1960 all the way to 1969. Anyway. And he never won a single overall title. Here is Rick Wayne. And as far as physiques are concerned that are ahead of their time, Rick Wayne may take the cake. Freddy Ortiz is pretty good, but Rick Wayne, he might be a next step up. He competed from 1964 all the way to 1981. What a long career. He won a single show. He won a single overall title. Mr. World 1967. Incredible, guys. There was a lot of stiff competition back then, but I mean, come on. Incredible. Now, this guy here, this is a little bit of a different story. This is Jim Haislop, and his physique is very underrated. He did nothing but win his amateur career, but as soon as he turned pro, he never won a single overall title. He never won a single overall title, but he only competed a couple of times, and then he was out of the sport. So it is very unfortunate that we didn't get to see the full potential of this guy. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, kind of underrated physique. Definitely, I would wager to say Jim Haislop. Unbelievable lines, everything. Here is the next guy on the chopping block. You guys having fun? We know who this guy is. Well, I'm sure a lot of people know who this guy is. Paul Grant from Pumping Iron. Come on, beat him, Kenny Waller. You have the gym. You get me my free membership and we'll see that you beat Paul Grant. Paul Grant, one of those bodybuilders so far ahead of his time. Wasn't even funny. Did the judges even see this guy coming? Did they even know where to put him? He won a couple of shows earlier on in his career. He used to compete for other federations, but as an IFBB athlete, bodybuilder, never won a single bloody show. That is incredible. The abs on this guy, you must remember him from Pumping Iron. Looked like he was ripped off then. So that's basically what this video is about. Guys that got ripped off constantly throughout their entire career. Competed 1970 all the way to 1978. May he rest in peace. Paul Grant, one of my favorite bodybuilders of all time. Here is Lance Dreher. This guy here had some of the biggest guns of his time. He competed way back in the 70s, 74 to 92. You know, almost a couple of decades there. He took 3 overall wins. That's it. One as a pro. He won a single pro show. That's unbelievable. He began his career in the IFBB 1982 and 83. He placed dead last at the Olympia. Can you imagine that? I remember watching these old Olympias. Some of my favorite ones to sit back and watch, and Lance Dreher may have had the most impressive complete physique, back, wheels, arm size, muscle, and they were placing him dead last, if not second to last. Now that is a very underrated career, if you ask me. He switched back and forth to NABA. He went to the Universe. He competed at the Universe. Did decent in NABA, but then every time he'd switch back to the IFBB. From 88 to 92, he competed in IFBB. Never winning a single show. Very unfortunate. Lance Dreher, one of the most underrated physiques, in my estimation, in the history of bodybuilding. Here's John Brown. John Brown, if you've never heard of John Brown, I mean, we're talking maybe one of the best posers of all time, aside from having maybe some of the best set of pecs that I've ever seen. Would just blow your mind, this guy's physique. And a lot of people have never even heard tell of him. Unbelievable. Aside from a win in 1982, a NABA Universe, a NABA, by the way, he never won a single show. Never won. That's unbelievable in the IFBB. Competed at the Olympia, 85, placing 14th. 14th. The judges probably didn't even look at him. Who is he? John Brown? Nah, never heard of him. Won't look at him. Well, they most certainly should have. John Brown, one of the most underrated bodybuilders, or else he wouldn't be on this list. Here's Edward Kawak. And speaking of NABA champions, Edward Kawak should not be on this video. By rights, he is the winningest NABA Universe champion of all time. But the thing of it is, he never won as an IFBB athlete. He competed at the Olympia 3 times, placing very low. You figured, a guy with that type of heavy development, full, thick wheels, arms, incredible development, incredible package. Never won a single show. The guy competed from 1980 all the way to 1999. Just a crying shame. Edward Kawak, one of my favorite physiques, for sure. Here is another 80s athlete. We're going on into the future from the past. This is Ron Love. And this guy here was one of the biggest, one of the most conditioned guys of his time. Competed for over 10 years, from 82 to 93. As a pro, he competed from 86, I guess, to 93. He won 3 shows as a pro, and normally I wouldn't count that in this video. 3 pro shows, not bad at all. But the guy deserved more than that, I think. And if you take a look at how many times the dude competed, that is unreal. Unreal. So Ron Love, I definitely wager to say, with the, like I said, the development, the condition of this guy, wasn't missing anything. Calves, arms, chest, great big man's chest, abs, everything. Ron Love, definitely an underrated bodybuilder. And so was this guy, Francis Benfatto, one of the most, if not the most aesthetically pleasing bodybuilders on the face of the earth. That was actually carrying quite a bit of muscle. And in terms of back development, hey, the guy was not missing anything. Competed back as far as 1985, all the way to 1993. He did return one time, 2006. So, he was an old timer back then. But either which way, the guy was a phenom. So a guy like that, you figured, should have got a pretty high placing at the Olympia. Nothing doing. Got a 12th place finish in 89. 90, he got 6th. But that was the drug-tested one. There was not too many competitors there to begin with. 1991, he took 7th. Alongside Thierry Pastel, who got 8th. Which is another guy that, like I said, watched the Bob Ciccarello video. Couple of guys, not going to mention, but yeah, I mentioned him. Unbelievable. 92, Thierry, or Francis Benfatto, 2 of the Frenchmen, hein? Le Marx Max Muscle, de le Français, le Petit. Oui. 1992, he took 15th. Unfortunately. That's unbelievable. Yeah, Francis Benfatto, never to win a pro show with a physique like that. That is very hard to believe. Get a little tongue-tied in the third quarter of these videos. Here is the next underrated bodybuilder, Roland Cziurlok. I might be mispronouncing his last name, but one thing that I am pronouncing correctly is the fact that he had a fantastic physique. This guy was unbelievable. Revolutionaries, baby please, whatever Louis Marco says. Conditioning, muscle everywhere. The guy was not missing too much. From 91 to 2001, the guy competed, never won a single show. He returned one time, much like Benfatto in 2011, just the one time, so we don't really count that. Mr. Olympias, he competed in a couple, placing 18th in 94. 18th. The guy was looking awesome. 96, he got 12th. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Roland Cziurlok, a guy's physique like that, rival a lot of today's guys to never win a pro show. Unbelievable. Here is Alq Gurley. No, I'm not making that up. That's his name. Alq with a Q. Gurley. I believe it's Gurley. He competed from 1989 to 1999. He is a colossus. Look at the muscles. Muscle bellies. Everywhere. Competed at an earlier Mr. Olympia, 1992. He got lucky number 13th. And lucky number 13, not 13th. He got 13th place. 94, anyway, 94, he got 11th. But I mean, this guy's physique, he definitely deserved to win a couple of pro shows. If he had got a little bit bigger, it would have been unbeatable, definitely. Here is John Sherman, and I have done a whole video package on this guy. He was a revolutionary, ahead of his time, 212 athlete. Very short dude, I believe like 5'2". Watch the video I did on him. Just look it up, John Sherman, Marx Max Muscle. It'll come up. Anyway, competed from 93 to, you ready for this? 2014. 2014, that's a long career. How many shows did he win? Nada. Never won a single show. That's a ripoff. I'm telling you right there. Guy never wasn't missing a single part, single piece. He was fighting in the Mass Monster era. Then, later on, the even bigger Mass Monster era. Finally did compete in the 212 divisions, but I mean, he was past his prime. Very, very unfortunate. Here is the next guy on this list of just unbelievably underrated bodybuilders, Ahmed Haidar. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this guy. Now, legendarily, he's not underrated. A lot of people talk about this guy and rank him very high on their lists of best abs of all time. Pretty complete bodybuilder. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. The guy competed a whopping 30 times. 30 times. Never took a single victory. Imagine. Could you imagine competing at that level? I mean, to have a physique at this level, to go into 30 shows and never win a single one. Competed at a bunch of Olympias, or 4 anyway. Did not even place at 2 of them, and got lucky number 13th in a couple of them. Unreal, unreal. Definitely a guy that was overlooked in those lineups. Ahmed Haidar. Best abs of all time? Well, maybe. Here is Edward Nunn. He is 6 feet 1 inch of pure bodybuilding perfection. Wasn't missing a single thing. This guy was incredible. Impeccable. He actually did win a single show. He won 1 show. Competed as a pro from 2009 to 2014. And it was a very small show. Wasn't a really big show. Competed in a couple of Olympia events. And placed very low. 16th, 2010. 12th, 2011. Competed in a Masters Olympia, actually. So maybe he started a little too late. Hard to say. The guy's physique was incredible. And in my estimation, he had a bright future at one time. But obviously, he didn't. Obviously, he didn't. Overlooked. He is underrated, much like everybody else on this list. And we will finish it off with Lionel Beyeke. I know he is kind of a current competitor, but I think the last we've seen of him, it was at the Arnold Classic France, I think, last year. Maybe was it the year before? Anyway, he was not looking very good at all. Definitely well past his prime. So it's pretty much safe to say he's not going to make any comebacks at this point. So it is also safe to say that he was overlooked. He was underrated throughout his entire career from 2009 till currently, I guess you could say. He won a mere 2 shows. For a guy that has Flex Wheeler type genetics, unbelievable muscle bellies, competed 30 times. Wasn't like he was hiding. He competed 30 times. Only won a couple. 2012, he won a Santa Monica. In 2016, they gave him the San Marino Pro. So, few and far between. Not big shows. And it's just a shame. And I began the video by saying you can't really say anything like that about a current competitor because we don't know where their careers are going. But I wager to say a guy like Regan Grimes, if he doesn't pick up the pace, man, oh man, he may fall victim to this fate of an underrated bodybuilder. I mean, yeah, 2021, he did all right. He won a show here and there. It seems like lately, in the last couple of years, he's been placing low. His placings are falling downward. So let's hope that he doesn't make this list. Hit thumbs up on the video, guys. Little bit of a long one, but I'm sure some of you binge watchers enjoy these types of videos, learning experiences, things of that nature. Go check out Bob Ciccarello's video. Go check out Bob's video. He gave me the idea, and I never put out maybe I mentioned theory, but there's a few more just as good as that too. Hit thumbs up, subscribe. Have a great one, guys.